Venus is the second brightest celestial body in the night sky after the moon. It never appears to venture far from the sun, either setting in the west after dusk or rising in the east before dawn. The pentagram of Venus is the path the planet makes in 8 years as observed from Earth. Although all planetary orbits are elliptical, the Venusian orbit is the closest to circular. Venus and Uranus are the only two planets to have a retrograde rotation, and the rotation of Venus is the slowest of any planet. A Venusian day lasts longer than a Venusian year. 243 versus 225 Earth days. Venus has an extremely dense atmosphere, composed of almost 97% carbon dioxide, creating surface temperatures of at least 460 degrees Celsius. A long-standing Venusian mystery is the so-called ashen light, a weak illumination of its dark side seen when the planet is in the crescent phase, resulting from electrical and volcanic activity. Venus has been a major fixture in human culture since time immemorial. It is known as Shukra, or the Bright One, in most Southeast Asian countries. In Chinese, it has been called Taibai or Jinxing, meaning the white gold planet, while in Hebrew it is Halel or Noga, which means the shining one. In ancient Europe, planet Venus was called Lucifer, that is, the light bearer, and it was venerated as a symbol of liberation, enlightenment, and apotheosis. Lucifer worshippers have traditionally supported the protection of the natural world and cherished the arts and sciences as crucial to human development. When sighted in the morning, Venus would be called Qiming in Chinese, Phosphoros in Greek, and Eosphorus in Latin, all of which mean morning star or dawnbringer. In the evening, it was also called Chang'an in Chinese, Hesperos in Greek, and Vesper in Latin, all of which mean evening star or nightbringer. The symbolic relevance of the planet Venus as the light bearer in ancient belief systems is best exemplified by the Buddhist concept of bodhicitta, that is, the enlightened mind. It is the mind that strives toward awakening, empathy, and compassion for the benefit of all sentient beings. Clear light is experienced briefly by all human beings at the very first moment of death, by advanced yogic practitioners in the highest states of meditation, and unceasingly by all Buddhas. Roman theology presented Venus as the yielding, watery female principle, essential to the generation and preservation of life, and combined the concept of fertility and beauty with the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Ankh is the ancient Egyptian hieroglyph for life, which neighboring cultures adapted into the crux ansata, a shape with a circular rather than oval loop. A very similar symbol known as Phos was used in ancient Greece to represent the planet Venus and enlightenment. It was later to symbolize the metal copper and the female gender. It is distantly related to the Chinese ideograph Zhao, which means morning. The Grimorium Verum, a textbook of magic which appeared in 18th century France and Italy, contained a few other symbols associated with Lucifer. The first name Lucifer was particularly popular in ancient Italy, and a very famous bishop named Lucifer Calaritanus lived in Cagliari in the 4th century. He is remembered for his passionate opposition to Arianism and his creation of Orthodox Catholicism on the island of Sardinia. His most faithful follower was a woman nicknamed Lucifera. In 18th and 19th century England, several Romantic poets wrote odes to Venus, the light-bearer. First and foremost is William Blake's poem, To the Evening Star. Thou fair-haired angel of the evening, now while the sun rests on the mountains, light thy bright torch of love, thy radiant crown put on, and smile upon our evening bed. Smile on our loves, and while thou drawest the blue curtains of the sky, scatter thy silver dew on every flower that shuts its sweet eyes in timely sleep. Let thy west wind sleep on the lake. Speak silence with thy glimmering eyes, and wash the dusk with silver. Soon, full soon, dost thou withdraw. Then the wolf rages wide, and the lion glares through the dun forest. The fleeces of our flocks are covered with thy sacred dew. Protect them with thine influence. Next are a few verses dedicated to the planet Venus by William Wordsworth. Though joy attend thee, orient at the birth of dawn, it cheers the lofty spirit most to watch thy course when daylight, fled from earth in the grey sky, has left his lingering ghost perplexed, as if between a splendor lost and a splendor slowly mustering. Who that looks on thee, touching as now in thy humility the mountain borders of this seat of care, can question that thou countenance is bright celestial power, as much with love as light? What strong allurement draws? What spirit guides thee, Vesper? Brightening still, as if the nearer thou comest to man's abode, the spot grew dearer night after night. True is it, nature hides her treasures less and less. Man now presides in power, where once he trembled in his weakness. Last but not least is George Meredith's poem, Lucifer in Starlight. On a starred night, Prince Lucifer uprose. Tired of his dark dominion, swung the fiend above the rolling ball, in cloud part screened, where sinners hugged their spectre of repose. Poor prey to his hot fit of pride were those. And now upon his western wing he leaned. Now his huge bulk over African sands careened. Now the black planet shadowed Arctic snows. Soaring through wider zones that pricked his scars with memory of the old revolt from awe, he reached a middle height, and at the stars, which are the brain of heaven, he looked and sank. Around the ancient track marched, rank on rank, the army of unalterable law.